guys, it's Jamie here, and before today's tutorial, which is going to be an art one based on Zern's mark making course that she's currently running in Art Tribe, I also wanted to give you a quick tour of the studio. Not all the extra space that I've had to use outside of the studio, the quadruple cupboard and extra shelving in yet another room for the stuff that I don't use so regularly, but the studio now has all the stuff I use regularly because I moved from one small room into this larger room, and it took me a whole day yesterday to sort things, label them, move them in here. Quite exhausting, so I'm going to do a little tour of what we've achieved in here. But I also am able to do this art tutorial because of my Kofi supporters. And this arrived today from Amazon. Thanks to Gillian, Angel, Christelle, Esther and Michelle, I was able to get this for Zern's course because I didn't want to use what I already had, because that's being used for other art tutorials. One's a more traditional art journal, one's more to do with some of the different styles that we're doing in Art Tribe. Now I've got to try and open this on camera. I don't always keep these bags for junk journal covers, sometimes I do. My trash bins or rubbish bins are full from sorting out the studio yesterday. So this one may be kept because they do make great soft covers once covered with material. Here it is. Look at the size of this baby. This is a brand new art journal. I like square ones, slightly more expensive than regular rectangular, I must admit. I like the ones with the scenes because then I can actually do a double page spread or similar spreads. Whereas the ring binder ones, I do have a few of those. They're not quite so good, but they're okay if I want to do a piece and then think, actually, I like that enough to frame it and cut it out and then frame it. This is going to be just purely for the mark making. There's a lot of sides in here. But again, what I might do is when I do something on this side, not do anything on the next page, so that if I want to cut it out and frame it, I'm not going to be covering up something on the reverse. So I may do that, I don't know yet. Anyway, thanks to my recent Kofi supporters for helping me purchase this. That's really helpful because, as you know, I'm having to spend 4 days a week outside of the studio. I had to take on some paid work, proper work if you like, which is limiting my time in here, means slightly less tutorials, less time to do stuff. I've got to clean the house soon because I've got some house viewings. Just never seems to end at the moment. But let's just quickly do a little tour of what I've been up to yesterday in my sorting prior to cleaning. Haven't cleaned yet, so that when I have these house viewings on Sunday, this room doesn't look quite so bad. My other rooms are quite minimal, so I'm allowing myself one room where they walk in and go, oh my god, what's going on in here? Because I have to have somewhere to work from. Right, let's have a look. Okay guys, it is actually quite late at night. It's about 8:30. We're going into winter, so it's getting darker earlier. This room, because it is a conservatory, mainly has the ring lights in here, so the lighting may not be so great. But I want to show you one thing that I purchased recently. I did have to get this using a 12% credit line from Amazon, so I'm paying for this up until Christmas. But my printer broke down and everyone was telling me to get an eco tank, so this is the one that I got. Doesn't print that quickly, but I must admit I'm hardly using any ink in comparison to normal. I'm still using a lot because I print a lot of stuff for the tutorials. So yeah, hopefully this is going to save me money because it certainly wasn't cheap. I got the one that was recommended for small businesses, therefore it wasn't the cheapest of the eco tanks. Don't know if that was a good move or not, but it got a lot of 5-star, 4-star recommendations. Next to it is one of my bargains. I found that in a charity shop locally, and that ink pad holder was £2, which is like $2.50. Then here I've got this big picnic table type thing, so lots and lots of space there for filming. That's actually, I don't know if I can get that in without it flaring up the camera too much, but that's the overhead. And I do actually have another one for side shots there, see? So yeah, then here you've just got the current Creator Club stuff, just some of it, which is apothecary, dispensing chemist, as I keep saying. Then underneath, because this is a big area, I have actually created some extra storage down here. Some hole punch stuff, some extra little drawers. Can't remember what's in those, don't think I've sorted those. Some very cheap copy paper, that's the sort of stuff I use for coffee dyeing and colouring paper. Otherwise I tend to use 120 GSM, that one's 70, or 160 if I want light cardstock. So as you can see, my floor does need cleaning. Whoops, never mind. So here's this plastic unit that you can buy in cubes and put together, and you can see that it has got all sorts of stuff, and it goes up quite high, like almost to the ceiling high, and then round, and then all these files down here, all those paper files are different Creator Clubs so far, like leftover digitals from them. That's my little sticker box. Then I've got lots of bits and pieces here. And then down here you can see ink stamps and stencil boxes. I've been labeling things frantically because I could never find anything. And I don't know about you, but if I can't find things, even though I know I've got them somewhere, I end up ordering like a second or third one. And it ends up costing you so much money just because you can't find things. This is from the Stash Builder series, so you can see that the stash is building. Look at all this coming together. Yeah, nothing coordinates in here, by the way. It's just bits and pieces of storage that I can find cheap, secondhand, that sort of thing. I'm not going to waste money having fancy put together storage. And then more papers and files up here. Then round a little bit. So that's my little summer sitting room, but this house is up for sale because it is way too big for one woman. Now the kids have all left home and cost far too much in energy bills. Right, so here I'm not even sure what I've got. Future projects, there you go. So that's future junk journal stuff. Not sure, bits and pieces, embossing powder. So it's not necessarily very logical. And this future projects is future art projects. This might be exciting for some of you. I've got some papyrus paper there and some little eggs and some masks. So, and somewhere there's some clay. So all sorts of stuff there. Then these were already existing. I don't think I've bought any of these recently. So these are just A4 US letter size drawers that are on casters. They're not the most secure. They aren't that stable, but they're labelled up. I did start doing fancy labels, and then as things have changed, I've basically just handwritten them. I'd rather get them labelled up than spend time that could be labelling stuff and sorting stuff, doing nice typed labels. Over here, into a darkish corner. I might have to turn my light round, actually. That will help. Hold on. Whoa. Lots of different tapes. I don't know. I mean, I've got 2 journal makers tapes there because, as I said, if I can't find something immediately, I will order it. And then I end up having too much of the same stuff. These boxes are brilliant. I love these. So what you have in these, and these are not particularly cheap, I must admit, is they're called photo storage boxes. but as you can see, if I can sort of turn them so you can see them, because I'm doing this one-handed, you've got, I don't know if you can see that, lots of little boxes for fussy cuts, and then I've labelled them up. So here you've got 1920s paper dolls, butterflies, library cards, and so on. I actually have 4 sets of boxes of these. I'm going to knock something over, aren't I? Whoops. Okay. That teddy bear was actually from a charity shop and was used in some promotional pictures for the Teddy Bear Creator Club. He was about $2. The corks from wine bottles and Prosecco bottles are used to add furniture protectors to use as ink dabbers, not even sure. Eeyore, absolutely irrelevant to craft, but I love Eeyore. So I think he actually came from California at Disney World a few years back. Spares of bits and pieces, lots of paintbrushes. So this is sort of the art side over here. So here you can see I've got some, I don't even know what that is currently, art images. So that's just stuff cut from magazines. Art project pictures, similar idea. Art journals. This is actually still some junk journal stuff, spare card stock from old scrapbooking days. Down here you've got various mediums for art. Like I say, the floor does need a clean. You've got more here as well. I know, but actually, because I did have a big sort out, I have some empty baskets. And then to the back here, I mass ordered a load of paintbrushes. Just some previous art projects that I intend to frame at some point. Some gel plate rollers, sprayers. Yeah. Then we've got a load of tarot decks. That's my daughter, but that's okay. And then down here, I can't remember, but oh, you've got some blank canvases, just cheap ones. Look at that. £3 for 6-pack of small canvas boards. So that's not bad. That's about $4.50. I do actually have a big art easel, but I haven't used that in years. I'm not sure how I would video that. Then over here we have the sewing machine. I wish I'd spent a bit more money when I bought this. I just wanted to do a bit of sewing in junk journaling because I'm no sewer. I was always better at cooking at school. But the one thing I do regret about this one is it doesn't have many stitch patterns on it. I now regret that. So I would say even if you want to get a cheap one, maybe get one with a few more stitch patterns than I got. Around here we've got something I pick up at charity shops is pictures, if they're cheap enough, because I can paint over canvases and I can take things out of frames and reuse the frames. Those big boards, I'm not sure, but I've got a feeling they might even have come back with me from China, because I can't imagine that I'd have bought those in the UK because they'd have been too expensive. Just some soft toys the kids bought me for some reason. This was on Facebook Marketplace, just a chest of drawers, really battered old looking, nice and cheap therefore. And in that there's more bits and pieces. So not particularly organised yet, like for book binding, ribbons, that type of thing. I'm trying to think what else is in there. I'm not even sure what that is. Oh, that's electronics. So heat guns, that sort of thing is in there. And then so on. I think some of these have got some stash builder stuff from old videos and so on. So I've started to label those. Then you've got the in tray, out tray, which is normally rammed full of bills. Yeah, the way I've cleared my bills is to put them in the recycling. This used to sit on my desk and be full of current projects. Now it's actually empty, so a bit more storage space there. Here you can see that ink dauber idea, make your own. I do have some proper ones as well. Then right in this corner, I'm hoping the light's holding out on us here, we have a very, very cheap, unstable trolley that's full of bits and pieces, things like scissors, rulers, current brushes, gel mediums, glues, things like that. And that, I think, is basically, I think down there you've got some old scrapbooking papers, 12 by 12s, something my son's left, presumably paper, because he did our A-level, some wallpapers that somehow I've picked up. And then that, I think I've got some egg boxes for current projects. That's the thing I haven't labelled up, so I've no idea what's in there yet. And that is basically the new setup. So yeah, that's kind of it. Because I have cupboards full of other stuff, this space, which I think must be 12 by 12, is not big enough. Because if I wanted everything in one room, I think we're looking at a 20-foot by 10-foot room. So if this house ever sells, I'm looking for a very big spare room, which if you live in the UK, you know is not necessarily particularly normal. But there you go. We will give it a go. I suppose I can always have something built in a garden or something. Oh gosh, my windowsills need doing. Slightly disgraceful video this really. But as you can see guys, a fat cat has decided that she's going to sit in my chair. So I'm going to see if I can get on camera next to her. I've decided, because this studio tour and the Kofi took longer than I expected, and I'm not editing it because it's more of a at-home video, that we will do the art journaling in the next video. Catch you soon. Bye.